Okay, I know that the title doesn't sound that attractive, but I promise you if you make it till the end of this video, you will not regret it and I will make it the most interesting possible for you. Hi, my name is Aram and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about decentralization and about the centralization of our society in particular. It will be the first series on my channel. There will be 3 episodes. This is the first one. Today we are going to talk about the risks and the threats of decentralization. In the second video, we will talk about the solutions, and the third one will be the overview of the whole series. But today we will start with the risks. It will not be a geopolitical course, it will not be a financial course, I promise you that. I'm just going to point out some facts and some risks that seem really interesting to me. The point of my channel is to make you think and to make you realize some things. So let's start with the first industry where decentralization is a potential threat. It is actually the most recent example because we have not experienced this before. During the last years, this thing that developed the most was the globalization of our world. So the countries started outsourcing their products, started producing in other countries. But what is interesting about it is that the globalization was supposed to decentralize our production. In the previous video, I talked about how governments only talk about the costs and about making profit. So what we can notice today is that by outsourcing our production, all of the countries actually centralize it in only one country, China. And during the last days, during the last month, when China stopped the production, the whole world got paralyzed. We are so dependent on only one producer in our world, which is China, that the whole world could not fight the virus that is going around today. And we actually outsourced our production so much that by outsourcing, we were not even able to answer to our population's needs, which is crazy when you think about it. So the first industry that we have just talked is the production industry, where we have to rely on only one country to be able to produce the things that we need. And now let's talk about the most valuable resource in the 21st century. It's not gold, it's not money, it's data. Today, companies tend to centralize their data in huge data centers. They are trying to protect it, obviously, but all the data is located in only one place. So if you have a hack of the center, then the hackers are able to access all the data that is inside it. So we do not actually possess our data, it's not ours. And anyone can access it if they just hack this one center. And I have 2 examples to give. You know Zynga. Zynga is a company that produces games, you know, Farmville, Cityville, all the Ville things. Well, their data center got hacked in 2019 and the hackers could access 218 million records. Just crazy. And now if we get back to the virus I talked about just before, now lots of companies are using Zoom for their meetings, for their events. Even universities are using this to give their classes online. The company got hacked, so the centralized data that they had is now available to anyone who is willing to pay for it. We have 500,000 accounts that are for sale on the dark web right now. And it's just crazy how people don't even mention it or talk about it, even though it's the most valuable resource today. Now we are going to talk about the most interesting part, the money. As I promised, it will not be a financial class, so I won't explain everything that I will talk about, but I would just like to talk about 2 particular things. So let's talk about the monetary system and about the banks. So if we talk about the crash that happened in 2008, as I told you, I won't talk about the crash, okay? In 2008, people placed all their money into the banks. So these banks thought that they were too big to fail. Being too big to fail, they allowed themselves to give out mortgages that people would not even be able to repay. And once they realized it, it was too late and the whole system crashed. So we just saw that the centralization in the banking system is not that perfect. But if we add to this the political factor and the organizations such as the EU, for example, in 2013 something happened that no one talked about. Cyprus. In 2013, there was a crisis going on in Cyprus. So the banks were failing. So at this point of time, the government allowed the banks to take money from the accounts. The phenomenon that I would like to talk about is called Cyprusization. Cyprusization. It's not that hard. Basically, if you had 100,000 on your saving accounts in a bank in Cyprus, if the bank was about to fail, this bank was allowed to take this money from you to avoid its failure. Isn't this crazy? When my friend told me about this, I could not believe it that it was real. So if we take this rule now and we transpose it to an organization like the EU, this law was adopted in 2016. So now it means that if there is a bank that is about to fail in the European Union, they are allowed to take the money from your savings account that you have in their institution to avoid failure. The banks that are supposed to be the keepers of our money. And I just find this crazy how people don't even know this or don't even talk about it. And this is where you can see that decentralization within the politics is also very important. This law was adopted by the European Union. It means that every country in the European Union are allowed to apply it to their clients in their banks. So let's say this crisis that we are living right now, the COVID-19, there will be an aftermath of this crisis. And so if the banks are about to fail and the governments are not able to support them anymore, the only remaining solutions is to take money from you. We have created this financial system which is failing, not for the first time already. We had several crises that put us so down, it was really hard to get back and people suffered. But people who are suffering are the population of the country. People who are suffering are us. So this is the main risk I wanted to talk about, that your money isn't even safe at your bank. So how can you be sure not to lose your money? There are some solutions to it. I would like to talk about this in my next video. I really hope that you enjoyed this subject because I really think that it's useful and it makes you think about our whole system and about how it's organized today. I think that we can actually learn a lot from it. And I think just by understanding this, we're way stronger. Please, if you enjoyed this content, leave a like under this video and subscribe to my channel. It helped me out a lot and it shows me that you actually care. Leave a comment down below to tell me what you think about it, or if you have any other examples of centralization, I would gladly hear about it. So once again, thank you for sticking with me and I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching.